Hey guys, what's up? Imagine a superhero movie that doesn't just break the fourth wall. It grabs a sledgehammer, smashes it to pieces, dances on the rubble, flips off every sacred comic book rule, and still, somehow, leaves you laughing, cheering, and weirdly emotional by the end. That, my friends, is Deadpool 2, the 2018 sequel that took everything we loved about the first film and cranked it to 11. If you've never seen it, or if you've only seen it once, I'm here to tell you exactly why you need to drop everything and watch Deadpool 2 right now. No spoilers, I promise. Just pure hype, facts, behind-the-scenes goodness, and me begging you to experience this masterpiece. Let's start with the man himself, Ryan Reynolds. After the first Deadpool became the highest-grossing R-rated movie ever in 2016, the world was screaming for more. Ryan didn't just come back, he co-wrote this one with Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, the same geniuses behind the first film in Zombieland. That means every single joke, every pop culture burn, every perfectly timed F-bomb feels like it came straight from the comic book page and Ryan's twisted brain. He's not just acting as Wade Wilson, he is Wade Wilson. Now, the director. The first movie had Tim Miller, but creative differences, classic Hollywood drama, led to him stepping away. In comes David Leitch, former stuntman, co-director of John Wick, director of Atomic Blonde, and later Bullet Train and Hobbs and Shaw. The guy lives and breathes action. Because of him, every fight feels raw, practical, and insanely creative. No lazy CGI nonsense here, just real stunts, real impacts, and choreography that makes you go, how did they even film that? Budget? $110 million. Box office? $785.9 million worldwide. That's not just profit, that's a cultural earthquake. It proved studios could make hundreds of millions with a hard R superhero movie that swears, bleeds, and never takes itself seriously. Cast-wise, oh boy. Ryan is surrounded by returning legends, Morena Baccarin as the whip-smart, heart of the movie Vanessa, Leslie Uggams stealing every scene as Blindall, Karan Soni as the sweetest, most eager taxi driver Dopinder, Brianna Hildebrand back as Negasonic teenage warhead, now with an actual girlfriend, Yukio, played by Shioli Kutsuna, making this one of the first big superhero movies to show an openly LGBTQ teen couple, Stefan Kapicic voicing the shiny moral compass Colossus, and TJ Miller as Weasel, the ultimate scuzzy best friend. Then the new blood arrives, and everything explodes. Josh Brolin, straight off playing Thanos in Infinity War the same year, becomes Cable. He bulked up like a monster, trained for months, and delivers this grizzled, no-nonsense, cybernetic soldier vibe that somehow still cracks jokes. Zazie Beetz bursts onto the scene as Domino, and her luck powers lead to some of the most inventive, laugh-out-loud action sequences ever put on screen. Julian Dennison, fresh from Hunt for the Wilder People, plays the fiery kid at the center of everything. And he's perfect. And X-Force? Terry Crews, Louis Tan, Bill Skarsgård, Rob Delaney, who became a fan favorite just from the marketing tweets, and more. Plus, there are cameos, big, small, shocking, hilarious cameos that I refuse to spoil. But when they happen, you will lose your mind. Brad Pitt is in this movie for literally seconds, and still manages to be iconic. Even Matt Damon and Alan Tudyk show up in the most random way possible. And yes, there are two post-credit scenes that are some of the funniest minutes in superhero history. Stay all the way to the end. Filming happened mostly in Vancouver, Canada, from June to October 2017, with Hatley Castle standing in for the X-Mansion. Reshoots happened in early 2018, because test audiences loved Cable and Domino so much they added more of them. Tragically, during a motorcycle stunt for Domino, professional racer and stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris lost her life. The entire production shut down for days out of respect, and they dedicated the film to her memory. It's a somber reminder of how real and dangerous these stunts are. Marketing was pure genius. Remember the Bob Ross parody teaser where Deadpool paints with all the happy little trees? The Thanksgiving poster that looked like a Norman Rockwell painting? The Celine Dion song, Ashes? Yes, Celine Dion recorded an original power ballad for Deadpool. And the music video has Deadpool dancing in high heels on the Caesars Palace stage while Celine judges him. David Leitch directed that video himself. They even released a PG-13 cut later called Once Upon a Deadpool with new Fred Savage scenes framed like the Princess Bride, and every ticket sold donated money to charity. They renamed the charity Fudge Cancer for the rating. The soundtrack slaps. Tyler Bates returned for the score, giving it this gritty, distorted, almost heavy metal energy. His score actually got a parental advisory sticker because the choir chants the word motherfucker. First time that's ever happened on a studio soundtrack. Then you've got Dolly Parton's 9 to 5, Aha's Take on Me, AC/DC, and of course, Ashes. Critical reception? 83% on Rotten Tomatoes from over 400 reviews. Metacritic 66. Critics called it funnier, bigger, and more emotionally satisfying than the first. It got nominated for editing awards, casting awards, and remains one of the most rewatchable superhero movies ever made. Home release gave us the super duper cut, almost 15 minutes longer, more jokes, more violence, more everything. That version played at San Diego Comic-Con with the cast doing live commentary. And now, both cuts are streaming on Disney Plus alongside the first film. Fun facts to blow your mind without spoiling anything. Ryan Reynolds voiced not one, but two characters in this movie. One of them a massive surprise. Josh Brolin was offered scale plus a cup of coffee for his second role. Zazie Beetz refused to shave her armpits because that's what real women look like. Brianna Hildebrand couldn't shave her head this time because of another project, so they gave her a buzz cut wig. The Juggernaut is 100% CGI, and his face is actually modeled after director David Leitch. Stan Lee has two different cameos. There's a quick shot of the X-Men that was filmed on the set of Dark Phoenix and sent over. And Rob Delaney's character Peter had his own Twitter account for months before the movie came out, just tweeting about beekeeping and being excited for X-Force tryouts. Look, here's the bottom line. Deadpool 2 is not just a sequel. It's a love letter to comic fans, a middle finger to every overly serious superhero movie, and somehow still has genuine heart underneath all the blood and profanity. The action is jaw-dropping, the jokes hit every 30 seconds, the fourth wall breaks are constant, and the cast is firing on all cylinders. It's violent, crude, ridiculous, and one of the most purely entertaining movies of the last decade. It's your boy back at it again, and today we're diving deep, real deep into one of the most chaotic, hilarious, and unexpectedly heartfelt superhero movies ever made, Deadpool 2 from 2018. If you've seen it, you know the vibe. If you haven't, buckle up because I'm about to sell you on why this film is an absolute must-watch. I'm talking non-stop energy, zero spoilers, every juicy detail I can throw at you. Director, budget, cast secrets, behind-the-scenes madness, marketing genius, soundtrack fire, trivia that'll make you go, no way, and all the reasons it still holds up as one of the best R-rated superhero flicks out there. Grab your chimichangas, get comfy, because we're going long. This is your full narrator-style hype session, ready to copy-paste straight into your text-to-voice script. Let's do this. Picture this. It's 2016. Deadpool drops out of nowhere and becomes the highest-grossing R-rated movie of all time on a tiny budget of around $58 million. Boom! Sudden massive success. Studios freak out in the best way, fans lose their minds, and Ryan Reynolds is basically untouchable. So naturally, they greenlight a sequel fast. Announcement came just 3 days before the first film even hit theaters. That's confidence. Deadpool 2 arrives in 2018. And it doesn't just repeat the formula, it explodes it. Bigger scope, wilder action, deeper emotions hidden under layers of sarcasm and gore, and still somehow funnier than the first one for a lot of people. Ryan Reynolds is back as Wade Wilson, the merc with a mouth, and he's not just starring, he's deeply involved. He co-wrote the script alongside Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, the same team from the original and classics like Zombieland. Every line feels personal, every meta joke lands like a punch, every fourth wall break is timed to perfection. Ryan's commitment is insane. He's been fighting for this character since the 2000s Wolverine Origins disaster, and by this point, he owns it completely. Now, the director switch-up was huge. Tim Miller, who helmed the first one, stepped away due to creative differences with Ryan. Nothing too dramatic, just different visions for where to take it. Enter David Leitch. If you don't know the name, you've definitely felt his work. He was a stuntman and stunt coordinator for years, co-directed John Wick with Chad Stahelski, then did Atomic Blonde solo. The guy understands action on a visceral level. He brings that raw, grounded, practical stunt energy to Deadpool 2. Fights feel brutal and real, no over-the-top CGI spam. Choreography is creative, fast, and packed with personality. Every punch, kick, sword swing, and ridiculous weapon use has weight because Leitch comes from the stunt world. He even directed the music video for the film's big original song later on. Total upgrade in the action department. Budget jumped to $110 million. Still modest compared to most Marvel blockbusters at the time, but double the first films. They used every penny smartly. No massive sets or endless green screen. A lot of it is practical locations, real stunts, clever editing. Box office? It crushed. Worldwide gross hit $785.9 million, making it the 9th highest grossing film of 2018. Domestic alone was over $324 million. That's Profit City. And it proved again that R-rated superhero movies could be massive moneymakers without toning anything down. Cast is stacked. Returning favorites make it feel like home. Morena Baccarin as Vanessa, gorgeous, tough, and the emotional anchor. Leslie Uggams as Blind Al, dropping one-liners that steal scenes. Karen Sony as Dopinder, the lovable cab driver who just wants in on the action. Brianna Hildebrand as Negasonic teenage warhead, now with her girlfriend Yukio, played by the adorable Shioli Kutsuna, giving us one of the first prominent queer teen couples in a major superhero blockbuster. Stefan Kapicic voicing the big metal boy scout Colossus. TJ Miller as Weasel, the sleazy, hilarious sidekick. New faces elevate everything. Josh Brolin as Cable, straight off being the biggest villain in the universe as Thanos that same year. He bulked up massively, trained hard, and brings this gravelly, intense, future soldier energy that contrasts perfectly with Deadpool's chaos. Zazie Beetz as Domino, her luck power leads to some of the most inventive, laugh-out-loud sequences you'll ever see. Julian Dennison as the young mutant at the story's heart, he's funny, heartfelt, and steals hearts without trying. Then X-Force assembles with Terry Crews, Louis Tan, Bill Skarsgård, yes, Pennywise himself in a very different role, Rob Delaney as the breakout fan-favorite Peter, who became a meme machine just from promo tweets, and more. Cameos? Oh man, absolute insanity. Brad Pitt shows up for literal seconds and becomes legendary. Matt Damon and Alan Tudyk in one of the most random, hilarious bits imaginable. Even more surprises you'll scream at. And 2 post-credit scenes. Stay seated, they're gold. Filming kicked off in Vancouver, Canada from June to October 2017. A lot of it shot right there. Practical locations, streets turned into battlegrounds. Hatley Castle doubled as the X-Mansion. They did reshoots in early 2018 because test screenings loved Cable and Domino so much. They added more scenes to give them extra shine. Tragically, during a high-speed motorcycle stunt for Domino's sequence, professional stuntwoman and racer Joy S.J. Harris passed away in a crash. Production halted out of respect, the team mourned, and the film is dedicated to her memory. It's a heavy reminder that these big action scenes come with real risks. Marketing was next-level chaos, in the best way. They dropped a teaser parodying Bob Ross, with Deadpool painting happy little trees covered in blood. Thanksgiving poster styled like a wholesome Norman Rockwell family scene, but it's Deadpool and friends being ridiculous. The big one? Celine Dion recorded an original power ballad called Ashes. Yes, Celine Dion. The music video has Deadpool in high heels, dancing on the Caesars Palace stage while Celine judges him. David Leitch directed it. Pure genius. They even released a PG-13 version later called Once Upon a Deadpool, framing the story like The Princess Bride with new scenes of Ryan Reynolds and Fred Savage. Every ticket sold donated to charity. They cheekily renamed it Fudge Cancer for the rating. Promo was relentless, funny, and everywhere. Soundtrack? Fire. Tyler Bates back on score duty. Gritty, heavy, distorted, almost metal vibes. The choir literally chants explicit words. First soundtrack ever to get a parental advisory for that. Hits include Dolly Parton's 9 to 5, Aha's Take On Me, AC/DC bangers, and that Celine Dion track. It all fits the tone perfectly. Critics loved it. 83% on Rotten Tomatoes from hundreds of reviews, certified fresh. Metacritic around 66. People called it bigger, funnier, more emotional than the first. Nominations rolled in. Golden Trailer Awards wins, Teen Choice stuff, even some editing and casting nods. It's rewatchable as hell. Home releases gave us treasures. The Super Duper Cut, aka the Extended Edition, adds almost 15 minutes. More jokes, extended fights, alternate lines, deeper moments. It breathes better in places, lets scenes land harder. Some fans swear it's the superior version. Theatrical is tighter, but Super Duper feels fuller. Both are on streaming now, usually Disney Plus with the first film. More trivia to blow your mind. Ryan voices 2 characters. One's a huge surprise. Josh Brolin got offered scale plus coffee for a second tiny role. Zazie Beetz kept her natural armpit hair. Representation matters. Brianna Hildebrand couldn't shave her head again due to scheduling, so wig buzz cut. Juggernaut is full CGI, face motion captured from director David Leitch himself. Stan Lee cameo? 2 different ones. Quick X-Men shot borrowed from Dark Phoenix set. Rob Delaney's Peter had his own Twitter for months, tweeting about beekeeping and X-Force excitement. Guns named Bee and Arthur, nod to Bea Arthur. Deadpool's hatred for Wolverine referenced right from the opening. So many Easter eggs, pop culture burns, comic nods. Here's why you need to watch or rewatch Deadpool 2 right now. It's not just jokes and violence. Under the sarcasm, the blood, the constant breaking of rules, there's real heart about loss, found family, redemption, protecting people who need it. The action pops off the screen thanks to Leitch's stunt mastery. Jokes hit every 20 seconds without feeling forced. Fourth wall breaks keep you grinning. The cast chemistry is electric. It's crude, ridiculous, over the top, and somehow deeply satisfying. If you caught the last part, we were deep into the cast. The action mastery from David Leitch. The insane box office haul of nearly $786 million worldwide on that $110 million budget. The marketing madness with Celine Dion belting out a power ballad while Deadpool prances in heels, and all those wild cameos that still make people scream. But trust me, there's so much more gold here. Trivia that'll make your jaw drop. Production secrets, why the extended cut exists and what it changes. More behind-the-scenes chaos, and the real reasons this movie feels like the ultimate party in superhero form. No spoilers, just pure fuel for why you should hit play tonight. Let's keep rolling. One of the coolest things about Deadpool 2 is how it doubles down on the meta humor that made the first one legendary. Ryan Reynolds has said in interviews that the script went through dozens of drafts, some with way more ridiculous ideas that got trimmed because even they thought it was too much. But what made it in? Pure gold. The opening sequence alone is a masterclass in subverting expectations. It's brutal, hilarious, and sets the tone that nothing is sacred. Ryan pitched some of the wildest ideas himself, like certain celebrity cameos that started as jokes at dinner parties and somehow became reality. Take Brad Pitt's cameo, legendary for how short and shocking it is. Apparently, Ryan reached out directly, and Pitt said yes because he thought it was hilarious. He got paid scale, basically minimum union wage plus a tiny bonus, something like $956 total. The man is one of the biggest stars on the planet, and he shows up for pocket change just to be part of the fun. Matt Damon and Alan Tudyk's bit? That whole thing came from Ryan pitching Damon over dinner about playing a ridiculous role involving toilet paper. Damon laughed, said sure, and boom, in the movie. These A-listers didn't need the paycheck. They wanted the chaos. More production gems. The Juggernaut, voiced by Ryan Reynolds himself in a surprise double-duty role, was fully CGI, but his facial performance? Motion captured from director David Leitch. Leitch put on the performance capture suit and did the grunts and expressions so that massive, unstoppable force has the director's own face under the helmet. Mind blown. And the X-Force team? Terry Crews trained like crazy for his role. Louis Tan brought serious martial arts cred. Bill Skarsgård, right after playing Pennywise, did something completely opposite and hilarious. Rob Delaney as Peter? The guy had his own Twitter account months before the film dropped, posting as the character, tweeting about his excitement for tryouts, beekeeping tips, mundane dad stuff. Fans thought it was a fake account at first, but it was official promo. Genius. Zazie Beetz as Domino refused to shave her armpits for authenticity. Real women have hair, and she stood by it. Representation in the smallest details. Brianna Hildebrand couldn't shave her head again for Negasonic because of scheduling conflicts with another gig, so they slapped a buzz-cut wig on her. It looks seamless. And the guns Deadpool uses? Named Bea and Arthur. Straight up nod to Golden Girls star Bea Arthur, because why not? The tragedy we touched on earlier, stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris losing her life during a motorcycle stunt, hit the whole crew hard. They paused production, honored her, and dedicated the film to her. It's a stark reminder that while the movie looks effortless and fun, the stunts are real and dangerous. David Leitch's background as a stunt coordinator shines through because he prioritizes safety as much as spectacle. Now, let's talk versions because people argue about this all the time. The theatrical cut runs about 1 hour 59 minutes. Tight, fast-paced, every joke lands like a sniper shot. Then there's the super-duper cut, sometimes called the super-duper at $% sign hashing cut. Adds roughly 15 minutes. We're talking extended scenes that let moments breathe more, extra dialogue, some alternate lines, a few new beats and fights, more character interactions, and even additional post-credit fun. Some fans say the theatrical is funnier because it's punchier. Jokes don't overstay their welcome, timing is razor-sharp. Others swear the super-duper is superior because it adds heart and lets quieter scenes hit harder without rushing. Deleted scenes include more X-Force recruitment stuff, extended banter, and bits that flesh out relationships. If you're watching for the first time, a lot of people recommend theatrical to keep the energy high. Rewatch? Go super-duper for the fuller experience. Both are killer, and both are easy to find on streaming. Awards? It didn't sweep Oscars or anything, it's too irreverent for that. But it cleaned up in the fun categories. Nominations for Critics' Choice, Teen Choice, Golden Trailer Awards, they won several for those insane trailers. American Cinema Editors nods for the editing wizardry, and more. It was recognized as one of the best action comedies of the year. Marketing kept the fire going right up to release and beyond. Beyond the Bob Ross teaser, the Celine Dion video, and the Thanksgiving poster, they did fake billboards, like one pretending Deadpool was sponsoring a ballet or something absurd. They partnered with random brands in ridiculous ways, dropped trailers disguised as other things, and even had Deadpool crash events. One trailer opened with Deadpool narrating over footage that looked like a serious drama, then flipped to chaos. The whole campaign bet on too much is just enough. Flood the internet with jokes, Easter eggs, and self-deprecation so fans couldn't escape it. And it worked. Opening weekend, 125 million domestic, knocked off Avengers: Infinity War from the top spot. It crossed 500 million global fast and kept climbing. Soundtrack deep dive. Tyler Bates' score is aggressive, electronic, with those infamous choir chants that earned the whole album a parental advisory. Mixing classic tracks like Take On Me during a key montage. Chef's kiss. 9 to 5 in a fight scene. Iconic. It all amplifies the tone. Fun, nostalgic, and unapologetically loud. Why does this movie still slap in 2026? Because it doesn't age. The humor is timeless in its absurdity. The action holds up thanks to practical stunts. The heart sneaks up on you amid the sarcasm. And it reminds everyone that superhero movies can be joyful riots instead of grimdark slogs. It's about protecting the people who matter, even if you're a broken mess. It's crude, violent, sweary, ridiculous, and genuinely moving when it wants to be. We've covered the core hype, the cast glow-up, David Leitch's stunt god direction, that massive $110 million budget turning into $785.9 million worldwide. Still one of the smartest R-rated investments ever. The marketing that had everyone quoting Celine Dion for weeks, the soundtrack bangers, the two versions, theatrical versus super duper, and tons of trivia like Brad Pitt getting paid peanuts for his blink and you miss it moment. But there's even more layers, more production secrets, how certain scenes came together, Easter eggs that reward rewatches, why the film feels so rewatchable years later, and straight-up reasons this movie is the chaotic comfort food of superhero cinema. No spoilers, just more fuel. Let's keep the energy high. First off, let's talk about how Ryan Reynolds basically turned this into his passion project on steroids. After the first Deadpool's success, he didn't just show up, he was in the writer's room every step. Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick have said Ryan would text them ideas at 3 a.m., pitch wild concepts over Zoom, and fight for lines that felt true to the comics. One example, the constant self-deprecating burns about Fox's X-Men universe? That wasn't accidental. Ryan pushed to lean into the real-life frustrations fans had with how Deadpool was handled before, like in Wolverine Origins, and turned them into gold. It makes the meta-humor feel earned, not forced. David Leitch brought his John Wick DNA to the fights, but he also added this playful, almost cartoonish flair. The prison escape sequence? Shot with practical effects mixed with clever camera work. Lots of one-takes, real impacts, no lazy cuts. Leitch did motion capture for one of the biggest bad guys himself. Yep, the director's face and movements are under that massive CGI suit. He grunted, posed, and gave it personality. That's why the character feels alive instead of just a hulking effect. More cast secrets. Josh Brolin trained brutally to get that cable physique. Hours of weights, cardio, and fight training. He was coming off Thanos, so going from purple CGI giant to cybernetic time traveler was a wild shift. But he nailed the gruff, no-nonsense vibe. Zazie Beetz improvised a lot of her Domino swagger. She brought natural charisma that made luck feel effortless and fun. Julian Dennison? The kid was a natural. His chemistry with Ryan is so genuine, it carries emotional weight without ever getting sappy. Rob Delaney's Peter became an internet darling because of those promo tweets. He kept the account going post-release, just being wholesome and chaotic. Cameos kept piling up in the most ridiculous ways. We already hit Brad Pitt, scale pay like $956. Matt Damon, prosthetics so thick you barely recognize him until he talks. Alan Tudyk right there with him. But there's more. Tiny flashes of X-Men faces borrowed from another set, quick nods to other Marvel stuff, even a split-second appearance from someone who became huge later. Hugh Jackman gets a meta shout-out in a way that had theaters erupting. And Ryan voicing extra characters? One's the big metal dude we mentioned, double duty at its finest. These aren't just fan service. They land because the movie knows exactly when to drop them for maximum shock and laugh value. Production wasn't all smooth sailing beyond the tragic stunt accident. Reshoots added more cable and Domino because early screenings lit up for them. Test audiences wanted more of that dynamic. They tweaked timing on jokes, extended certain beats. Vancouver weather threw curveballs during outdoor shoots. Rain machines for rain scenes turned into actual downpours. But the crew powered through, and you can feel the practical location love. No overpolished studio backlots here. The Super Duper cut deserves its own spotlight again because opinions are split hard. Theatrical runs tighter, about 119 minutes. Jokes snap faster. Pacing never drags. Super Duper adds 14 to 15 minutes, extended X-Force recruitment laughs, more banter in key moments, alternate dialogue that changes punchlines slightly, a bit more character depth in quieter scenes, and extra post-credit goodness. Some say theatrical is funnier because it doesn't let jokes linger. Others love Super Duper for letting emotions and absurdity breathe. If you're scripting a review, mention both. Recommend theatrical for first-timers to keep the high energy. Super Duper for fans who want the deluxe chaos. Deleted scenes floating around online include more baby-related absurdity. You'll know when you see it. Alternate endings teased in breakdowns, and bits that got cut for time. Easter eggs? Endless. Comic nods like specific weapons. Catchphrases twisted just right. Background details referencing old Deadpool runs. Pop culture burns hit everything from Star Wars to Disney to other superheroes. One opening bit pays homage to a famous dramatic death in a way that's equal parts tribute and roast. The fourth wall breaks reference real-world stuff like Fox's merger talks at the time, meta on meta. Why watch in 2026? Because Deadpool 2 predicted the future in a weird way. After years of interconnected universes and serious stakes, this film reminds you superhero movies can be standalone riots. Fun first, lore second. It's violent and sweary, but the heart about family, protection, and second chances sneaks in and hits hard. Rewatch value is insane. Catch new jokes every time, spot missed cameos, quote lines endlessly. Streaming makes it easy. Disney Plus has both cuts, often bundled with the original. We're keeping the momentum going. Your hype narrator Ashwani here, still locked in on Deadpool 2 from 2018, piling on even more reasons this movie is an absolute essential watch. We've already unpacked the Ryan Reynolds passion project vibes, David Leitch's stunt mastery, that killer box office run, $785.9 million worldwide on $110 million, still impressive even in 2026. The stacked cast, marketing wizardry, soundtrack heat, the two main cuts, and a bunch of trivia bombs like Brad Pitt's scale pay cameo, around $956 for Seconds of Glory, Josh Brolin voicing extra tiny roles for coffee money vibes, Zazie Beetz owning her natural look, and the tragic but respectful dedication to stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris after that motorcycle accident. But there's layers upon layers left. More Easter eggs without spoiling a thing, deeper production stories, how the reshoots shape the final film, why the humor lands so hard on repeat viewings, and why this sequel feels like the perfect evolution of the Deadpool formula. Let's dive deeper. One thing that makes Deadpool 2 stand out is the sheer volume of Easter eggs and references packed in. It's like a love letter to comics, movies, and pop culture, but done with that signature sarcastic twist. Without giving plot away, there are nods to classic X-Men moments, Marvel crossovers that poke fun at real-world studio drama, callbacks to the first Deadpool, like certain weapons or catchphrases getting upgraded, and quick flashes of familiar faces in the background, like a prison scene loaded with mutant prisoners that eagle-eyed fans spot instantly. One prison truck has a ground chuck mutant shout-out, and guess who? Director David Leitch himself in a quick cameo as that character. The X-Mansion gets a visit with some familiar chairs and setups that tie into the bigger universe without over-explaining. There are Star Wars helmet vibes in Dreams, Adventure Time watch callbacks, and even subtle digs at other superhero tropes. Comic book runs get honored, like specific X-Force team dynamics twisted just right, or weapons named after Golden Girl stars, Bee and Arthur, anyone? These aren't lazy inserts. They reward rewatches because you catch new ones every time. Cameos keep escalating in absurdity. We hit the big ones. Matt Damon in heavy prosthetics as a redneck with Alan Tudyk right beside him. The whole bit started as Ryan pitching Damon at a casual dinner about a ridiculous toilet paper manifesto role, and Damon jumped in for the laughs. Brad Pitt as the invisible vanisher, blink, and you'll miss it, but it's iconic. Hugh Jackman gets a meta Wolverine nod that had crowds losing it. Ryan Reynolds pulls double or triple duty voicing surprises, including that massive CGI juggernaut whose face motion came from Leitch himself. Even Stan Lee pops in twice in different ways. These aren't just, hey look who it is. They fit the chaotic energy perfectly. Reshoots were key to polishing it. After initial test screenings, Cable and Domino tested so strong that they added extra scenes to give their dynamics more room. More banter, more action beats, tighter integration. Vancouver shoots dealt with real weather chaos, rain-for-rain effects turning into actual storms, but it added grit to the practical locations. Filming wrapped principal in late 2017, reshoots early 2018, and the whole thing felt collaborative, with Ryan in the mix pushing for what felt authentic. The humor? It's relentless but smart, jokes every 20 to 30 seconds, but they build on character. Wade's sarcasm masking real pain, Blind Al's deadpan roasts, Dopinder's eager innocence, Colossus's moral lectures clashing with everything. The fourth wall breaks reference real 2018 stuff like Fox-Disney merger whispers, making it feel alive and timely even now. It's crude, violent, sweary as hell, but the emotional core, found family, protecting the vulnerable, dealing with loss, sneaks up and sticks with you. That's why it's rewatchable. Laugh track one viewing, catch Hart the next, spot Easter eggs the third. Super duper cut specifics. Fans debate endlessly. It adds about 15 minutes total, extended X-Force tryout laughs, more Colossus Negasonic Yukio family moments, longer action sequences that let stunts breathe, alternate dialogue swapping punchlines, extra quiet beats for character depth, and more post-credit extras. Some scenes get tweaked timing, jokes land differently, a few get swapped or removed for flow. Theatrical feels snappier, like a comedy special. Super duper like a director's passion cut with more room. If you're new, theatrical keeps the pace blazing. If you're a fan, super duper adds richness. Both shine on Disney+. We've already hit you with the Ryan Reynolds triple threat, star, co-writer, producer energy. David Leitch turning fights into pure adrenaline poetry. The budget to box office glow-up. 110 million to almost 786 million worldwide. The stacked cast chemistry. The marketing that had Celine Dion singing for Deadpool. The soundtrack that slaps harder than a chimichanga to the face. The theatrical versus super duper cut debate. Easter eggs galore. Cameos that still make people scream. And the real heart hiding under all the blood and sarcasm. But there's more. Way more. Little details. Production quirks. Why certain choices were genius. How the movie plays in 2026, and straight-up reasons this is still the gold standard for R-rated superhero fun. Let's keep feeding that script for your review video. Let's zoom in on some of the smaller but brilliant production choices that make Deadpool 2 feel alive. The color grading. Notice how it's got this slightly desaturated, gritty look in fights but pops with bright reds and yellows in Deadpool's suit? That's intentional. Leach and cinematographer Jonathan Sella wanted the action to feel grounded and brutal, but the hero moments to scream comic book energy. The suit itself got an upgrade. More tactical pouches, better fabric for stunts, still bright red and black but with subtle texture changes that make it look lived in. Ryan wore that thing for months. He's talked about how sweaty and uncomfortable it got, but it added to Wade's "I'm a mess, but I look cool" vibe. Weapon work is next level. Every gun, sword, katana, and improvised death tool feels practical. No lazy green screen glows, real metal clangs, real recoil, real weight. The fight choreographers, including Leach's stunt team, rehearsed sequences for weeks, mixing martial arts, parkour, and pure slapstick. One prison hallway fight, shot in long takes with multiple cameras so you feel the chaos without cuts breaking immersion. Another sequence with vehicles and explosions, mostly practical pyrotechnics and real crashes, minimal CGI cleanup. That's why the action holds up on big screens or tiny phones. It's tactile. Sound design deserves its own shout-out. Every punch, slice, gunshot, and F-bomb has impact. The Foley artists went hard, crunching bones, squelching blood, metallic clangs that echo. Tyler Bates's score layers in distorted guitars, heavy drums, and those infamous explicit choir chants, still the only soundtrack to earn a parental advisory for lyrics alone. When classic songs drop, like Take On Me in that one montage, or Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 during a beatdown, it's not random. The lyrics and tempo sync perfectly to what's happening on screen. It's musical comedy at its peak. Editing is razor sharp. Editors Elisabeth Ronaldsdottir and Dirk Westervelt both worked on Atomic Blonde 2, cut for rhythm. Jokes land on the beat, action flows like music, emotional moments get just enough space to breathe before the next gag hits. Pace never drags. Even quieter scenes have subtle visual jokes in the background. Check Blind Al's apartment decor on rewatch. The Super Duper cut adds breathing room. Some scenes stretch an extra 10 to 20 seconds, letting punchlines build or letting you soak in character reactions. Theatrical keeps it machine gun fast. Both work, but the editing team nailed the balance either way. More tiny wins. Dopinder's cab gets wrecked in increasingly ridiculous ways. Each time it's a running gag that escalates without explanation, just pure visual comedy. Negasonic and Yukio's relationship gets small, sweet moments, hand-holding glances, quiet support, that feel natural in the chaos. Colossus's shiny chrome look, practical suit with CGI polish only where needed. Juggernaut's size and momentum, motion-captured performance plus massive practical set pieces so he feels unstoppable. These details add up to a world that feels real even when it's absurd. In 2026, Deadpool 2 still feels fresh because it doesn't chase trends. It sets them. It came out when superhero fatigue was starting to whisper, and it said, "Nah, let's have fun again." No forced crossovers, no grimdark origin story, just a broken guy trying to do right in the most wrong way possible. The humor is crude and relentless, but never mean-spirited. The violence is over the top, but cartoonish enough to stay fun. The heart, about grief, protecting kids, building weird families, lands because it's earned through sarcasm, not speeches. Fun rewatch tips. First time, theatrical cut, full volume, no distractions. Second time, super duper, pause for Easter eggs. Third, turn on subtitles. Missed visual gags and background signs become hilarious. Fourth, watch with friends and see who quotes the most lines first. It's that kind of movie. By now you've got the full picture. Ryan Reynolds co-writing and owning the role, David Leitch bringing John Wick-level stunt realism, the budget smartly doubling to $110 million for that $785.9 million worldwide haul, the cast firing on all cylinders, from Josh Brolin's grizzled Cable to Zazie Beetz's effortlessly lucky Domino, the marketing that turned Celine Dion into a Deadpool stan, the killer soundtrack with those explicit choir chants, the theatrical cut's snappy pace versus the Super Duper's extra 15 minutes of breathing room, and trivia bombs like Brad Pitt's $956 cameo payday, Matt Damon's toilet paper manifesto pitch over dinner, and director Leitch motion capturing the Juggernaut's face. But let's layer on even more gems. Production quirks, Easter egg overload without a single plot reveal, why the reshoots made it better, sound and visual tricks, and why this film still feels electric in 2026. One production choice that flies under the radar but hits hard is the practical effects obsession. Almost every major fight uses real stunts, real wires, real impacts. Leitch's team rehearsed sequences like the prison breakout for weeks to nail the flow. Long takes capture the madness without choppy edits, making you feel every hit. Pyrotechnics for explosions? Mostly real, with minimal CGI polish. The suit upgrades, more tactical details, better mobility fabric, let Ryan move like a broken ballerina while looking iconic. Color palette shifts subtly, desaturated grays in brutal moments, popping reds and yellows when Deadpool owns the frame. It's comic book vivid without feeling fake. Sound design and score are MVPs too. Foley team went wild. Every bone crunch, blood squelch, metal clang has texture. Tyler Bates layered distorted guitars, pounding drums, and that choir chanting words that got the whole album a parental advisory. Still a wild first. Song placements sync like clockwork. Take on Me, montage energy. 9 to 5, fight irony. Lyrics match action perfectly. It's not background noise, it's part of the comedy rhythm. Editing magic from Elizabeth Ronald's daughter and Dirk Westervelt keeps everything tight. Jokes land on precise beats, action flows like a music video, quiet moments get space before the next explosion. Super-duper cut specifics fans fight over. Adds extended X-Force tryouts with more laughs, longer Colossus family beats, extra banter in key spots, alternate lines tweaking punchlines, a new post-credit bit or two, and some scenes stretched for emotional weight, like letting reactions linger. Some dialogue swaps or removals for better flow. Theatrical? Machine gun pace? No fat. Super-duper? Fuller? Richer? Some say it fixes rushed bits. Others prefer the original's tightness. Both are winners. Pick based on mood. Easter eggs and references? This movie is stuffed. Prison Truck says, Ground Chuck Mutant. Leitch cameo. X-Mansion has familiar chairs and setups nodding to the bigger universe. Quick Mutant prisoner flashes include Marrow and others from comics. Background signs, weapons, catchphrases twisted just right. Pop culture burns hit Star Wars helmets in dreams, Adventure Time watches, Bond opening credits parody with Celine Dion. One bullet slice moment callbacks to a certain Wolverine scene. News ticker jokes like Christopher Plummer refuses role in Deadpool 2. It's endless. Rewatches reveal new ones every time, from comic nods to real-world Fox drama digs. Reshoots weren't just add-ons, they refined. Early tests loved cable domino dynamics so much they expanded it. More scenes, tighter integration, better timing on jokes. Vancouver weather added grit. Planned rain turned real storms, making locations feel lived in. In 2026, Deadpool 2's legacy shines brighter post-Deadpool and Wolverine success. It proved R-rated can dominate without apology, paved the way for fun first superhero stories amid fatigue, and holds up because it's crude, violent, hilarious, but with sneaky heart about second chances and protecting the broken. No forced lore dumps, just chaotic joy. Rewatch hacks: theatrical first for speed, super-duper second for depth, subtitles third for background gags, friends fourth for quote battles. It's built for repeats. Ryan Reynolds as the ultimate merc with a mouth, co-writer, producer, and walking fourth-wall wrecker. David Leitch's stunt-heavy direction that made every fight feel like a brutal ballet. The budget smartly climbing to $110 million for a worldwide gross of $785.9 million, putting it as the 9th biggest film of 2018 and proving R-rated can print money. The cast that's pure fire. Morena Baccarin's Vanessa holding it down emotionally. Josh Brolin's Cable bringing that Thanos-level intensity. Zazie Beetz' Domino owning luck like a boss. Julian Dennison stealing hearts. Rob Delaney's Peter becoming a promo legend. The marketing chaos with Celine Dion's Ashes video and that Bob Ross teaser. The soundtrack mixing classics like Take On Me with Tyler Bates' gritty, explicit choir score. The two cuts. Theatrical's lightning pace versus Super Duper's added depth. Production heartbreaks and triumphs, including the dedication to stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris. And trivia like Brad Pitt's scale pay cameo, Matt Damon's dinner pitch role, Leitch motion capturing the Juggernaut, and Easter eggs from prison truck labels to X-Mansion nods. But let's pile on even more behind-the-scenes gold. Easter egg breakdowns, still zero spoilers, cut differences details, and why this movie's legacy in 2026 is stronger than ever. Production was a wild ride beyond the basics. The team shot in Vancouver from June to October 2017, turning streets, warehouses, and Hatley Castle, the classic X-Mansion stand-in, into battlegrounds. Reshoots in early 2018 were huge. Test audiences went nuts for Cable and Domino, so they added more scenes to flesh out their arcs, tweak joke timing, and amp up the chemistry. Some reshoots even happened after early feedback on pacing. The prison sequences, filmed in long, continuous takes to capture the raw energy. No quick cuts to hide mistakes. Explosions and vehicle crashes leaned heavy on practical effects. The crew used real fire, real metal bends, real impacts to make everything feel dangerous and fun. One quirky behind-the-scenes fact, T.J. Miller, Weasel, faced serious allegations during filming, which the movie cheekily turned into an Easter egg reference in dialogue. Meta as hell, fitting Deadpool's style of calling out real-world stuff. The writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick have talked about how Ryan would send late-night texts with insane ideas, some making it in, some cut for being too far. The script went through tons of drafts to balance the crude humor with those sneaky emotional beats that hit when you're not expecting it. Easter eggs and references are everywhere. It's like a scavenger hunt. The opening has a ballerina music box nod to a certain dramatic death from another Wolverine film, complete with Deadpool's signature hate love for Logan. Prison Yard has subtle mutant cameos like Marrow from the comics. Background details include M-Day is Coming propaganda, comic event nod, Alpha Flight ads on Dopinder's cab roof, and quick flashes of X-Men faces pulled from other sets. There's a Ground Chuck Mutant truck label that's actually director David Leitch in a Blink cameo. News tickers roast Christopher Plummer passing on a roll. Dream sequences parody Bond openings. Weapons and lines twist comic lore. Think specific X-Force team vibes or Deadpool's dad backstory aligning with certain runs. Pop culture hits Star Wars helmets, Adventure Time watches, Disney digs, and even subtle merger whispers. One bullet deflect moment callbacks to Wolverine iconic scenes. The list goes on. 69+ spotted in breakdowns, from Marvel crossovers to inside jokes about Fox's handling of the character. Rewatches are mandatory. Subtitles help catch the background signs and quick text gags. Super duper cut changes are debated endlessly. It adds roughly 14 to 15 minutes, 844 seconds exactly in comparisons. New stuff includes extended X-Force recruitment with more laughs and dialogue, longer Colossus Negasonic Yukio family moments, extra banter in quiet spots, a few alternate lines swapping punchlines or timing, some scenes stretched for reactions, and additional post-credit extras. Some theatrical jokes get removed, changed, or reordered. Fans argue it sometimes kills momentum by letting bits linger too long, while others love the added heart and depth, like more character breathing room. One big addition, alternate footage in key sequences, plus a whole new scene or two at the end in some versions. Theatrical stays funnier and tighter for many. Super Duper feels like the director's passion with more everything. If scripting your review, say, first-timers go theatrical for the punchy energy, veterans hit Super Duper for the deluxe chaos. Legacy in 2026? Still massive. Deadpool 2's domestic haul of about $324.6 million got briefly passed by newer films, but the worldwide number and profit, estimated $235+ million, cemented as a beast. It paved the way for the Deadpool and Wolverine explosion years later, proving irreverent, standalone R-rated stories can thrive in a connected universe world. It mocked fatigue before it fully hit, kept the fun alive, and showed Hart can sneak through sarcasm. In a sea of serious stakes, this is the movie that reminds you superheroes can be ridiculous joyrides. Practical tip: watch theatrical first, 119 minutes of non-stop laughs, then Super Duper on rewatch for the extras. Crank the volume, subtitles on for hidden jokes, friends around for quote wars. It's built for that. We've covered the core fire, Ryan Reynolds' insane involvement as star, co-writer, and producer, David Leitch's action expertise from John Wick roots, the budget smartly hitting $110 million for a massive $785.9 million worldwide gross, ninth biggest film of 2018, with profits estimated north of $235 million after marketing. The cast chemistry exploding with Morena Baccarin, Josh Brolin, Zazie Beetz, Julian Dennison, Rob Delaney's breakout Peter, and that stacked X-Force crew. Marketing genius like the Celine Dion Ashes power ballad video directed by Leach himself. The soundtrack blending Tyler Bates' gritty parental advisory earning score with Dolly Parton, Aha, and AC/DC. The two main versions. Theatrical's tight 119-minute punch versus Super Duper's 14 to 15-minute extension. Production dedication to the late stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris, and trivia like Brad Pitt's $956 cameo, Matt Damon's random dinner pitch role with Alan Tudyk, Leach motion capturing the Juggernaut's face, and endless Easter eggs from prison truck labels to X-Mansion nods. But let's keep digging. More behind-the-scenes secrets, deeper cut comparisons, Easter egg highlights, still zero plot reveals, and why this film's legacy feels even bigger in 2026. Behind-the-scenes quirks keep surprising. Ryan Reynolds pitched Matt Damon the redneck role over dinner, described it as a toilet paper manifesto bit, and Damon jumped in for the absurdity. The prison truck Easter egg ground chuck mutant? That's David Leitch himself in a quick cameo appearance. Writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick dealt with Ryan's 3 a.m. idea texts. Some wild concepts made the cut, others got trimmed to avoid going too far. T.J. Miller's Weasel character even had a cheeky real-world reference slipped into dialogue as an inside joke about offset drama. The team recycled relationships for cameos. Reynolds' Hollywood network brought in big names for scale pay or fun, keeping costs smart despite the bigger scope. The reshoots weren't filler, they were upgrades. Early test screenings loved Cable and Domino's energy so much that extra scenes got added. More banter, better dynamic moments, refined joke timing. Some Vancouver shoots battled real weather. Planned rain effects turned into actual storms, adding authentic grit to the streets and locations. Hatley Castle as the X-Mansion? Classic touch, with familiar setups and chairs nodding to the bigger X-Men world without overdoing it. Easter eggs are a treasure trove. Beyond the big ones we've hit, there's a ballerina music box figure in the opening paying twisted tribute to a certain dramatic Logan moment. Deadpool's hate for Wolverine shines. Prison Yard has subtle comic mutants like Marrow flashing by. Background news tickers roast Christopher Plummer for refusing a role in Deadpool 2. Dopinder's cab roof has Alpha Flight ads. Dream sequences parody classic Bond openings. There's a quick Adventure Time watch callback from the first film. Weapons get Golden Girls nods, Bea and Arthur. One bullet deflect gag echoes iconic Wolverine moves. News banners and signs drop merger whispers and pop culture burns. Comic runs get honored through twisted team dynamics, catchphrases, and dad backstory alignments. Fans have spotted 600-plus references in breakdowns. Rewatches with subtitles reveal hidden text gags, background signs, and quick flashes you miss first time. Super Duper Cut, aka Super Duper $% exclamation mark hash and cut, details get debated hard. It adds exactly 844 seconds, about 14 minutes 5 seconds, over theatrical. New additions, extended X-Force tryout sequences with more laughs and dialogue, longer family moments for Colossus Negasonic Yukio, extra banter and quieter spots, some stretched reactions for emotional weight, alternate footage and key beats, a few new lines or swaps tweaking punchlines, and additional post-credit extras. Some theatrical jokes get removed, reordered, or changed. Fans say it sometimes lets scenes linger too long, killing momentum, while others love the added depth and raunchier content. One big note, certain final emotional beats feel different in timing or presentation. Theatrical stays snappier and funnier for many, quicker responses, tighter pacing. Super Duper feels like the unfiltered director's vision with more blood, nudity hints, and running gags. Recommendation stays solid. New viewers hit theatrical for the high-energy flow. Fans or rewatches go Super Duper for the fuller, messier chaos. Both include alternate dialogue and some scene extensions that make the world feel bigger. In 2026, Deadpool 2's legacy is rock solid. It outgrossed the first film, proved R-rated standalones could dominate, paving the way for later team-ups, mocked superhero fatigue with self-aware humor, and balanced crude violence with genuine heart about loss, protection, and weird families. Streaming on Disney Plus keeps it accessible, both cuts bundled, easy rewatches. It still feels fresh because it's fun first. No forced lore, just chaotic joy with sneaky emotion. Pro tip for your viewing: start theatrical. Full blast, no pauses. Rewatch Super Duper with friends for quote battles and Easter egg spotting. Subtitles on for the hidden gems. It's the movie that rewards every pass. We've stacked this script sky high. Ryan Reynolds' all-in passion, co-writing with Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, fighting for every meta line. David Leitch's practical stunt brilliance, making fights feel raw and real. The budget jumping to $110 million for that epic $785.9 million worldwide gross, ninth biggest of 2018, massive profit proving R-rated can rule. The cast magic: Morena Baccarin anchoring the Hart, Josh Brolin as Cable straight from Thanos mode, Zazie Beetz killing it as Domino, Julian Dennison's kids stealing scenes, Rob Delaney's Peter turning promo tweets into legend, Celine Dion's Ashes music video absurdity, Tyler Bates' score with those wild, explicit choir chants earning a parental advisory first ever, the theatrical cut's snappy 119 minutes versus Super Duper's 14 to 15-minute extension debate, the tragic dedication to stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris, Brad Pitt's $956 cameo payday, Matt Damon's dinner pitch redneck role with Alan Tudyk, Leitch motion capturing Juggernaut's face, and Easter eggs from prison truck Ground Chuck Mutant, Leitch himself, to ballerina music box. Wolverine nods, news ticker Christopher Plummer roasts, Alpha Flight cab ads, and 600-plus spotted references in fan breakdowns. But let's add even more flavor. Deeper cut comparisons, more Easter egg highlights, zero spoilers, production quirks that show the love, and why Deadpool 2 still dominates rewatches in 2026. Super Duper Cut, aka Super Duper at $% hash and cut, versus theatrical is a fan war worth mentioning in your video. Theatrical runs tight, about 119 minutes, jokes snap fast, responses are quicker, like Peter's recruitment line hitting harder and funnier, pacing never lets up, and it feels like a non-stop comedy assault. Super Duper adds exactly around 844 seconds, 14 minutes 4 seconds-ish, extended X-Force tryout bits with extra dialogue and laughs, longer Colossus Negasonic Yukio family vibes, stretched quiet moments for reactions and emotional weight, more blood and raunch in some fights, alternate footage or swaps in key sequences, new lines tweaking punchlines or timing, and extra post-credit goodies. Some theatrical jokes get cut, reordered, or changed. Fans argue it sometimes drags by, lingering too long on bits that worked better snappy, killing momentum in places. Others swear Super Duper is superior for letting scenes breathe, adding depth to relationships and absurdity, making certain emotional beats land stronger, especially toward the end. One common take: theatrical is funnier overall, Super Duper is richer and messier, like the unfiltered version. In your review, say something like, "New to it? Start theatrical for the pure high-energy rush. Rewatching or want the deluxe chaos. Super Duper adds heart and extra insanity without ruining anything." Both shine on Disney+. Easy to compare. Easter eggs keep blowing minds. Beyond the big ones, Prison has Marrow from comics flashing by. Inmate numbers like 24601 nod to Les Miserables, Jean Valjean vibes, a Yentl versus Cable joke, Barbra Streisand reference, Dickie Greenleaf name drop from the talented Mr. Ripley, Olivia and Meredith Swift shoutouts, maybe Swift family Easter egg, a quick Black Widow Domino line, Negasonic called 11 Stranger Things style, and tons of comic consistency, like Wade's dad backstory aligning with certain runs. Background news banners drop merger hints and Plummer refusal gags. One opening ballerina figure on a stick is a twisted Logan death tribute. Deadpool's obsession shines. Dream sequences, parody Bond intros. Weapons B and Arthur honor B. Arthur. Alpha Flight ads on Dopinder's cab. It's a reference feast. Fans count 600+ across breakdowns, from Marvel crossovers to inside Fox jabs. Subtitles on rewatch catch hidden text and signs you miss. Production love shows in tiny ways. Ryan's late-night texts to writers brought wild ideas. Some cut for being too much, others perfected the metatone. The team leaned practical. Real wires, real pyros, long takes in prison halls for immersion. Vancouver shoots dealt with chaotic weather. Rain machines plus actual storms added grit. Reshoots polished Cable Domino dynamics after tests lit up for them. The whole vibe was collaborative. Ryan pushing for authentic Deadpool voice, Leitch ensuring stunts had weight. In 2026, Deadpool 2 feels timeless. It laughed at superhero seriousness before fatigue hit full force, proved standalone R-rated stories could crush, setting up later massive team-ups, balanced gore, and laughs with real themes of grief, redemption, and protecting the vulnerable. Streaming keeps it alive. Both cuts ready, perfect for binging the original, then this. Viewing pro move. Theatrical first. Blast it loud, laugh nonstop. Super duper next. Pause for Easter eggs. Quote with friends. Subtitles unlock the hidden layer. It's the film that gets better every time. We've built a monster already. Ryan Reynolds' obsessive ownership of the character, co-writing every F-bomb and fourth wall smash with Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, David Leitch's stunt coordinator-turned-director magic making every punch land like a truck. The budget smartly doubling to $110 million for a worldwide haul of $785.9 million. Ninth biggest film of the year, profits north of $235 million after everything. The cast that's basically a dream team. Morena Baccarin's Vanessa as the emotional core, Josh Brolin's Cable channeling pure gravelly intensity, Zazie Beetz owning Domino's luck with effortless swagger, Julian Dennison's heartbreaking and hilarious kid, Rob Delaney's Peter-spawning meme-level promo tweets, Celine Dion recording an original power ballad, Ashes, and starring in a music video where Deadpool dances in heels on the Caesars Palace stage, Tyler Bates' score with choir chanting explicit words, first soundtrack ever to get a parental advisory for that alone, the theatrical cut's razor-sharp 119-minute pace versus the super-duper cuts added 14 to 15 minutes of extra chaos and heart. The tragic but respectful dedication to stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris after her motorcycle accident, Brad Pitt's blink and miss cameo for scale pay, around $956, Matt Damon's random redneck role pitched over dinner with Alan Tudyk, director Leitch motion, capturing the Juggernaut's face under all that CGI, and Easter eggs. So dense fans count over 600. Prison truck ground chuck mutant equals Leitch cameo. Ballerina music box twisted Logan tribute. News ticker Christopher Plummer refusal gag. Alpha Flight cab ads. Marrow prison flashes. Yentl vs. Cable. Streisand burn. Dickie Greenleaf name drop. Olivia/Meredith Swift nods. Black Widow domino line. And endless comic consistency twists. But let's keep stacking. More cut comparison nuance. Easter egg deep cuts. Still no plot spoilers, production love notes, and why this film feels like comfort food chaos in 2026. Super duper cut specifics fans obsess over, adds roughly 844 seconds total. Key extensions include longer X-Force recruitment laughs and dialogue, more Peter awkwardness, more team banter, stretched Colossus Negasonic Yukio moments that feel warmer and more familial, extra quiet beats where characters react or breathe, letting sarcasm land before the next explosion, alternate footage and action sequences for different angles or impacts, some new or swapped lines tweaking punchlines, a few raunchier, a few softer, more blood splatter and implied nudity hints in fights, and additional post-credit material, one or two extra gags or teases. Theatrical keeps certain jokes snappier. Peter's "I'm Peter" line hits harder and faster, some responses feel punchier, momentum never dips. Super duper sometimes lets scenes sit an extra 10 to 20 seconds, which can feel draggy to some but richer to others, especially in emotional turns or character family vibes. Verdict in your video. Theatrical is the comedy rocket. Fast, funny, no fat. Super duper is the deluxe remix. More heart, more mess, more everything. Try both. You'll have a favorite by the end. Easter eggs keep revealing themselves. Beyond the prison yard, Marrow Flash, and Les Mis inmate number 24601 nod. There's a quick 11 Stranger Things style call out for Negasonic. A Black Widow domino joke. Background propaganda like M-Day is coming. Comic event tease. A split-second X-Men face borrow from Dark Phoenix set footage. Dream sequence Bond parody complete with gun barrel style. Weapons B and Arthur as Golden Girls tribute. Dopinder's cab roof Alpha Flight billboard. Quick Adventure Time watch callback from Film 1. And dialogue twists, aligning Wade's dad's story with specific comic runs. News tickers and signs drop merger whispers. Disney buys Fox vibes. Plumber role refusal roast. And pop culture burns from Star Wars helmets in dreams to random brand jabs. It's layered so thick that even hardcore fans miss half on first watch. Subtitles unlock text gags, background posters, and quick flashes. Production heart shows in the details. Ryan's 3 a.m. writer texts brought chaos ideas. Some too wild, even for Deadpool got axed. others refined into gold. The team prioritized practical over CGI where possible. Real wires for flips, real pyrotechnics for blasts, long prison hallway takes for immersion. Vancouver's unpredictable weather turned planned rain into real downpours, added texture to street fights. Reshoots weren't panic, they were love. Extra cable domino shine because tests screamed for more. Everyone from stunt coordinators to editors, Elisabeth Ronaldsdottir and Dirk Westerveld, kept the rhythm tight while letting Hart sneak in. In 2026, Deadpool 2 feels prophetic. It mocked interconnected universe fatigue before it peaked, proved R-rated standalone stories could dominate box office and streaming, balanced gore and profanity with genuine themes of grief, found family, and protecting the broken. It set the table for later massive crossovers while staying pure chaotic joy. Disney Plus keeps both cuts alive, perfect for original then sequel binges. Ultimate viewing flow, theatrical first, lights off, volume up, laugh until it hurts, super duper second, pause for Easter eggs, quote, wars with friends, subtitles on for hidden layers. It's the movie that gets funnier, smarter, and more touching every pass. We've loaded it with everything. Ryan Reynolds owning the Merc with a mouth like no one else, co-writing the script with Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick to make every line feel personal and savage. David Leitch bringing that raw, practical stunt energy straight from his John Wick days. The budget wisely bumped to $110 million, turning into a worldwide gross of $785.9 million, nailing ninth place for 2018 and raking in serious profit. The cast, that's pure lightning. Morena Baccarin grounding the Hart as Vanessa, Josh Brolin delivering grizzled cable intensity fresh off Thanos, Zazie Beetz making Domino's luck feel like magic, Julian Dennison breaking hearts and cracking jokes, Rob Delaney's Peter becoming an accidental internet icon through promo tweets alone, the marketing masterclass with Celine Dion's Ashes Power Ballad and that iconic music video of Deadpool strutting in heels, Tyler Bates's score layering heavy guitars and a choir literally chanting explicit words, earning the soundtrack a parental advisory for the first time ever. The theatrical cut's blistering 119-minute pace versus the super-duper cut's extra 14 to 15 minutes of deeper chaos. The heartfelt dedication to stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris after the tragic motorcycle accident, Brad Pitt's $956 cameo for literal seconds of glory, Matt Damon's redneck role born from a casual dinner pitch alongside Alan Tudyk, Leitch himself motion capturing the Juggernaut's massive face under the CGI, and an Easter egg explosion fans tally at over 600. From the ground chuck mutant prison truck that's Leitch's own cameo, the ballerina music box twisted tribute to a Logan moment, news ticker Christopher Plummer roast, Alpha Flight ads on Dope Ender's cab, Quick Marrow prison flashes, Yentl vs. Cable, Streisand burn, Dickie Greenleaf name drop, Black Widow domino line, Les Mis inmate number nods, and comic-accurate backstory twists. Let's push a little further with more cut-specific insights, hidden Easter egg gems, still spoiler-free, quirky production facts that show the care, and why rewatching this thing in 2026 feels like hanging out with an old chaotic friend. Super Duper Cut fans get heated for good reason. Beyond the raw added runtime, around 844 seconds, it brings extended X-Force tryout sequences packed with awkward laughs and extra dialogue, longer beats for Colossus, Negasonic, and Yukio that make their found family dynamic warmer and more lived in. Stretched quiet moments where sarcasm or reactions get room to settle before the next explosion. Alternate angles or impacts in action beats, swapped or new lines that tweak punchlines, some dirtier, some subtler, heavier blood effects, and raunchier hints in fights, and a couple extra post-credit teases or gags. Theatrical keeps the energy machine gun tight. Peter's recruitment hits quicker and funnier, some back and forths feel sharper, nothing lingers too long. Super Duper can feel draggy in spots if you're craving pure comedy speed, but it shines when you want more emotional texture or just want to soak in the absurdity longer. In your script, frame it like, theatrical is the adrenaline shot. Fast, hilarious, relentless. Super Duper is the extended remix. More family vibes, more mess, more heart. Watch one, then the other. You'll argue with yourself which wins. Easter eggs are basically infinite on repeat viewings. More hidden ones. A quick 11 Stranger Things style nickname drop for Negasonic. Background M-Day is coming. Propaganda posters nodding to a major comic event. split-second X-Men faces lifted from Dark Phoenix set footage, dream sequences doing full Bond gun barrel parodies, Adventure Time watch callbacks tying back to the first film, Weapons B and Arthur as straight Golden Girls love letters, and dialogue that mirrors specific Deadpool comic runs without copying verbatim. News tickers sneak in Disney-Fox merger whispers, random brand roasts, and pop culture burns from Star Wars helmets in dreams to obscure actor jabs. The density is insane. Subtitles reveal text gags, background signs, quick flashes, and layered jokes you missed the first 5 times. Production quirks that scream passion. Ryan's habit of bombarding writers with late-night ideas. Some too outrageous even for Deadpool got killed, others polished into iconic meta burns. Practical effects ruled. Real wires, real fire bursts, long unbroken takes in prison corridors to capture the frenzy. Vancouver shoots turned weather chaos into bonus atmosphere. Fake rain became real storms, giving street battles extra grit. Reshoots were targeted love letters. Extra cable Domino shine because early audiences couldn't get enough. The whole crew kept the balance. Brutal action, non-stop jokes, and just enough heart to make you care. In 2026, Deadpool 2 feels like the movie that saw the future. It laughed off superhero bloat before everyone else felt it, showed R-rated standalones could own theaters and streaming, mixed gore and profanity with real themes of loss, protection, and building weird families from the wreckage. It still hits harder than most blockbusters because it's fun without apology, heartfelt without preaching. Viewing ritual suggestion. Blast theatrical first. Dark room, max volume, pure laughs. Super duper next. Pause to hunt Easter eggs. Quote lines with whoever's watching, subtitles on for the secret layer. It's the kind of film that improves every single time. David Leitch's stunt-rooted direction that makes fights feel visceral and inventive. The budget smartly scaled to $110 million, delivering a worldwide gross of $785.9 million, landing 9th for the year and proving hard R superhero films could be massive moneymakers. The cast firing on every cylinder, Morena Baccarin's Vanessa as the emotional heartbeat, Josh Brolin's Cable radiating no-nonsense future soldier grit, Zazie Beetz bringing effortless cool to Domino's luck powers, Julian Dennison nailing the mix of vulnerability and fire, Rob Delaney's Peter turning simple promo tweets into viral gold, Celine Dion's unexpected Ashes power ballad with Deadpool dancing in high heels in the music video, Tyler Bates' aggressive score featuring a choir chanting explicit words, earning that rare parental advisory on the soundtrack itself, the theatrical cut's lightning-fast 119-minute flow versus the super-duper cuts added 14 to 15 minutes of expanded absurdity and depth. The touching dedication to fallen stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris. Brad Pitt's scale pay cameo worth about $956 for seconds of screen time. Matt Damon's redneck bit, born from a casual dinner conversation with Alan Tudyk, Leitch motion, capturing the Juggernaut's face under the CGI bulk, and an Easter egg count fans push past 600. Prison truck ground chuck mutant as Leitch's sneaky cameo. Ballerina music box Logan tribute, news ticker Christopher Plummer refusal roast, Alpha Flight cab roof ads, quick marrow flashes in the prison yard, Yentl versus Cable, Streisand jab, Dickie Greenleaf name drop, Black Widow domino line, Les Mis inmate number 24,601 nod. 11. Stranger Things style Negasonic callout. M-Day is Coming background posters, Bond gun barrel dream parodies, and comic run backstory alignments. Let's keep feeding the fire with more cut nuances, overlooked Easter egg treasures, still completely spoiler safe, production passion points, and the reasons this film feels like essential viewing even now. Super duper cut versus theatrical debates get passionate because both versions have their champions. Theatrical keeps the comedy engine revving at max RPM, jokes land with sniper precision, Peter's awkward recruitment moment hits quicker and lands harder, dialogue exchanges feel snappier, and the overall momentum never gives you a second to breathe in the best way. Super Duper adds that precise 844-ish seconds of extra content, longer X-Force tryout chaos with more awkward laughs and character interplay, extended Colossus Negasonic Yukio family warmth that makes their dynamic feel more lived in, stretched reaction beats where sarcasm or shock gets room to settle, alternate action angles or impacts for variety, swapped punchlines that sometimes go raunchier or subtler, heavier gore splashes and implied raunch and fight aftermaths, and a handful of additional post-credit gags or teases. Some fans say Super Duper drags in places by letting certain bits linger too long, killing the theatrical's relentless pace, while others argue it unlocks more emotional texture, deeper absurdity, and richer character moments, especially in quieter or family-oriented spots. Solid script line, theatrical is the pure adrenaline comedy rush, fast, funny, unforgiving. Super Duper is the unfiltered director's cut, more heart, more blood, more everything. Watch one, love it, then try the other and pick your side. Easter eggs are a bottomless well. More subtle ones that reward obsessives. Background propaganda posters teasing M-Day comic events, split-second X-Men faces borrowed straight from Dark Phoenix set. Photography, a quick Black Widow self-roast for Domino, Adventure Time watch callbacks linking back to the first movie, Weapons B and Arthur as pure Golden Girls homage, dialogue mirroring specific Deadpool comic runs, dad issues, regeneration quirks, team dynamics, news tickers slipping in Disney-Fox merger whispers and random celebrity jabs, dream sequences doing full-on James Bond gun barrel spoofs, and layered visual gags like inmate numbers or signed text that only pop with subtitles or pauses. The movie is built for repeat watches. Each pass uncovers new references, from Marvel crossover teases to inside Hollywood burns. Subtitles are basically mandatory for the full experience. Production details that show the love. Ryan's relentless late-night idea dumps to the writers. Some concepts too insane even for this franchise got cut. Others sharpened into the film's sharpest meta edges. Practical stunts dominated. Real wires for flips and falls, real pyrotechnics for explosions, long unbroken prison hallway takes to immerse you in the frenzy. Vancouver's weather chaos turned into an asset. Scheduled rain effects became genuine downpours, adding raw texture to outdoor battles. Reshoots were strategic upgrades, not fixes. Extra cable Domino focus because test audiences demanded more of that contrast. The crew balanced brutality, humor, and heart without ever letting one overpower the others. In 2026, Deadpool 2 still feels ahead of its time. It roasted superhero universe bloat before it became mainstream conversation, demonstrated that R-rated standalone stories could crush box office and hold streaming power, and mixed extreme violence and non-stop profanity with authentic themes of grief, redemption, protecting the vulnerable, and assembling the weirdest possible family. It's the anti-fatigue movie. Fun first, self-aware, emotionally sneaky, and endlessly quotable. Viewing ritual upgrade. Hit theatrical first. Dark room, cranked volume, zero distractions for the pure laugh assault. Super Duper second. Pause freely to hunt Easter eggs. Run quote battles with anyone watching. Subtitles locked on for the hidden text layer. It's the film that rewards loyalty. We're still rolling deep into Deadpool 2 from 2018, because the more we peel back, the more this movie reveals itself as one of the smartest, filthiest, and weirdly touching superhero rides ever made. And your review video script is getting richer with every pass. We've got the foundation rock solid. Ryan Reynolds treating Wade Wilson like his own twisted baby, co-writing the script to nail every self-roast and pop culture gut punch. David Leitch turning action into something that's equal parts brutal ballet and cartoon mayhem thanks to his stunt coordinator DNA. The budget hitting that sweet $110 million spot to deliver a worldwide haul of $785.9 million, proving once and for all that R-rated heroes don't need to play nice to make bank. The cast that's basically a chemistry experiment gone gloriously right. Morena Baccarin giving Vanessa real soul beneath the sarcasm, Josh Brolin making Cable feel like a walking war machine with a dry sense of humor, Zazie Beetz turning Domino's luck into pure visual poetry, Julian Dennison balancing kid vulnerability with sharp timing, Rob Delaney's Peter accidentally becoming the internet's wholesome chaos king through months of in-character tweets, Celine Dion stepping way out of her lane for Ashes and letting Deadpool high-heel dance on stage in the video, Tyler Bates' score going full heavy metal distortion with a choir that literally swears on tape, earning the soundtrack a parental advisory sticker no one saw coming. The theatrical cut's relentless 119-minute sprint versus the Super Duper cut's extra 14 to 15 minutes of indulgent extras. The quiet dedication to stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris after that heartbreaking motorcycle loss. Brad Pitt collecting scale pay for a cameo that's over before you blink. Matt Damon's toilet paper manifesto role sparked by a random dinner chat with Alan Tudyk. Leitch putting his own face and grunts into the Juggernaut's motion capture, and an Easter egg avalanche fans clock at over 600. From Leitch's ground chuck mutant prison truck self-insert, to the ballerina music box Logan death parody, Christopher Plummer news ticker burn, Alpha Flight cab roof billboards, Quick Marrow prison yard flashes, Yentl vs. Cable, Streisand dig, Black Widow, Domino self-roast, Les Mis inmate number 24,601 wink, 11. Stranger Things, Negasonic nickname drop, M-Day is coming. Background propaganda, Bond gun barrel dream spoofs, Adventure Time watch callbacks, B and Arthur weapon names as Golden Girls love letters, and dialogue that echoes specific comic runs without ever feeling forced. One thing that keeps popping up on rewatches is how the fourth wall breaks evolve from the first film. They're not just random. They're timed to comment on real 2018 stuff like Fox-Disney merger rumors, Hollywood egos, and even the franchise's own rocky history. Wolverine Origins shade gets thrown with surgical precision. The movie knows exactly when to wink at the audience without pulling you out of the story. It pulls you deeper in. The humor is layered too. Surface-level crude jokes hit hard, but underneath there's character-driven sarcasm that reveals Wade's pain, Blind Al's world-weary wit, Dopinder's eager innocence clashing with everything, Colossus's straight-laced morality getting constantly dunked on. It's comedy that works on multiple levels. Laugh at the surface, catch the deeper burn on the second pass, appreciate the emotional setup on the third. Production stories keep getting better the more you hear them. The prison escape sequence wasn't just choreographed. It was rehearsed like a live stage show, with multiple cameras rolling long takes to capture the unfiltered frenzy without relying on quick cuts to hide flaws. Vancouver's unpredictable rain turned planned, wet scenes into genuinely soaked battles, giving the footage that extra raw edge no VFX could fake. Reshoots weren't about fixing mistakes. They were about amplifying what worked. Test audiences went wild for Cable and Domino's contrast, so the team added more of their dynamic, sharpened joke timing and gave certain beats extra room to breathe. Ryan was in the trenches the whole time, pushing for authenticity while the writers balanced the chaos with those sneaky, heartfelt moments that sneak up on you. The violence is cartoonishly over the top, but never gratuitous. Every death, every limb lost, every blood splatter serves the comedy or the stakes. It's stylized enough to stay fun, grounded enough to feel impactful. The practical effects shine here. Real metal clangs, real recoil on guns, real impacts on bodies. When CGI kicks in, Juggernaut, Cable's tech, Domino's luck sequences, it's used sparingly and smartly, never overwhelming the human or mutant element. In 2026, this thing still feels alive because it refused to take itself seriously while secretly caring a lot. It came out when superhero movies were starting to feel formulaic, and it said, screw that. Let's have fun, bleed a lot, swear constantly, and still make you feel something real about loss and protecting people who can't protect themselves. It's the antidote to grimdark overload, loud, ridiculous, profane, and somehow hopeful underneath it all. We've already built an absolute fortress of details. Ryan Reynolds basically living in Wade Wilson's head, co-writing to make sure every fourth wall break, every self-deprecating burn, every chimichanga reference feels ripped straight from the comics and his own twisted sense of humor. David Leitch proving why he's the king of grounded yet wild action. Practical stunts, long takes, real impacts that make you wince and cheer at the same time. The budget smartly scaled to $110 million, turning into a $785.9 million worldwide monster. Ninth biggest film of 2018, massive profit that screamed R-rated superheroes work. The cast that's basically a perfect storm of chemistry. Morena Baccarin making Vanessa the one person who can call Wade on his crap and still love him. Josh Brolin giving Cable that gravelly, I've seen the future and it's ugly vibe. Zazie Beetz turning Domino's luck into the most visually satisfying power ever put on screen. Julian Dennison delivering kid energy that's equal parts funny and heartbreaking. Rob Delaney's Peter somehow stealing scenes with zero powers and just pure awkward dad charm. Celine Dion going full power ballad mode for Ashes, while Deadpool prances in heels on the Caesars Palace stage in the music video. Tyler Bates' score blending distorted guitars and a choir that swears out loud. First soundtrack in history to earn a parental advisory for lyrical content alone. The theatrical cut's machine gun 119-minute pace versus the Super Duper cut's extra 14 to 15 minutes of indulgent, bloodier, funnier extensions. The quiet but powerful dedication to stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris after the tragic motorcycle accident. Brad Pitt's Blink and You Miss It cameo for literal scale pay, around $956. Matt Damon's redneck role sparked by a casual dinner pitch alongside Alan Tudyk, Leach himself grunting and posing in the motion capture suit for the Juggernaut's face, and an Easter egg count that's legitimately overwhelming. Over 600 spotted by fans, from Leach's Ground Chuck Mutant prison truck self cameo to the Ballerina Music Box Logan death parody, Christopher Plummer news ticker roast, Alpha Flight cab roof ads, Quick Marrow prison yard flashes, Yentl vs. Cable Streisand jab, Black Widow Domino line, Les Mis inmate number 24,601 wink. 11. Stranger Things. Negasonic nickname, M-Day is Coming, background propaganda, Bond gun barrel dream spoofs, Adventure Time watch callbacks, B and Arthur weapon names as Golden Girls tributes, and dialogue that mirrors specific Deadpool comic runs with surgical precision. Another thing that hits harder on every rewatch is how the movie uses silence and timing as weapons. Amid all the non-stop dialogue and explosions, there are these perfect little pauses. Wade looking straight at the camera with that dead-eyed stare, or a beat after a particularly savage line where the room just lets the absurdity sink in. Those moments make the jokes land 10 times harder. The editing team, Elisabeth Ronaldsdottir and Dirk Westervelt, deserves endless credit. They cut for rhythm like it was a music video, letting punchlines breathe just long enough before the next one drops, while keeping action sequences flowing without ever feeling choppy or fake. The visual style is sneaky genius too. The color pops when Deadpool's in frame, bright red and black against grittier backgrounds, but the fights stay desaturated and raw, so the impacts feel real. Domino's luck sequences are a masterclass in inventive cinematography. Slow-mo chaos, improbable coincidences captured in wide shots that make you laugh at how perfectly everything aligns. It's not lazy CGI luck, it's choreographed mayhem that feels earned. And the practical effects hold up insanely well in 2026. Real blood squibs, real metal clangs, real stunt performers taking real hits. When CGI does show up, it's seamless because it's used sparingly. Production anecdotes keep surfacing that show how collaborative and chaotic it was in the best way. Ryan would show up with pages of new dialogue overnight. The writers would tweak on the fly, Leach would adjust stunt setups to fit the new beats, and the cast would improvise lines that sometimes made it into the final cut. The prison hallway fight, rehearsed for days with the whole team running it like a live performance. Multiple cameras, no safety net, pure adrenaline. Vancouver's weather played its own role. Planned rain turned into torrential downpours that soaked everyone and added that extra layer of miserable realism to the action. In 2026, Deadpool 2 feels like the movie that predicted the shift back toward fun, standalone superhero stories. After years of interconnected universe weight and grim stakes, this film said, "Let's just be ridiculous, bleed everywhere, swear constantly, break every rule, and still sneak in real emotion about protecting people who need it most." It's crude and violent and profane, but it's never mean-spirited. The heart is there, buried under sarcasm and blood, but unmistakable when it hits. We're still deep in the Deadpool 2 from 2018 rabbit hole, and honestly, the more we unpack this thing, the clearer it becomes why it's one of those movies you can watch a dozen times and still catch something new every single go. We've already stacked the script with so much gold, Ryan Reynolds treating the Merc with a mouth like his personal mission, co-writing to ensure every fourth wall break, every savage self-roast, every pop culture gut punch lands with maximum impact. David Leitch bringing that John Wick-level stunt realism where every fight feels raw, practical, and insanely creative. The budget hitting $110 million to fuel a worldwide gross of $785.9 million, ninth biggest of 2018. Massive proof that R-rated superhero chaos can dominate without apology. The cast that's pure fire. Morena Baccarin anchoring Vanessa as the whip-smart emotional center. Josh Brolin channeling grizzled future soldier energy as Cable. Zazie Beetz making Domino's luck powers look like effortless visual poetry. Julian Dennison nailing the perfect mix of kid heart and fire. Rob Delaney's Peter turning Zero Power's awkwardness into meme gold via months of promo tweets. Celine Dion dropping an original power ballad Ashes with Deadpool high-heeling it on the Caesars Palace stage in the music video. Tyler Bates' score going hard with distorted guitars and a choir that straight up swears, earning the soundtrack a parental advisory for lyrical content. First time ever. The theatrical cut's blistering 119-minute non-stop pace versus the super-duper cut's extra 14 to 15 minutes of bloodier, raunchier, deeper extensions. The heartfelt dedication to stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris after the tragic motorcycle accident, Brad Pitt's scale pay cameo, about $956 for Seconds of Glory, Matt Damon's redneck bit sparked by a casual dinner pitch with Alan Tudyk, Leech motion, capturing the Juggernaut's face under all that CGI, and an Easter egg overload fans tally at over 600. Leech's ground chuck mutant prison truck self-insert, ballerina music box Logan death parody, Christopher Plummer news ticker roast, Alpha Flight cab roof ads, Quick Marrow prison yard flashes, Yentl vs. Cable, Streisand dig, Black Widow Domino self-roast, Les Mis inmate number 24601 wink, 11. Stranger Things. Negasonic nickname, M-Day is coming. Background propaganda, Bond gun barrel dream spoofs, Adventure Time watch callbacks, Bea and Arthur weapon names as Golden Girls tributes, and dialogue echoing specific comic runs with wicked precision. What really elevates the rewatch value is how the movie layers its humor like an onion. Peel one level for the crude one-liners and visual gags, another for the character-driven sarcasm that reveals Wade's broken psyche, another for the subtle emotional beats that hit when you're least expecting them. The fourth wall breaks aren't just random. They're surgical, commenting on real-world Hollywood drama, Fox-Disney merger whispers, the character's comic history, and even the franchise's own messy past, Wolverine Origins shade that had theaters erupting. Those pauses after a particularly brutal line or stare down, pure genius. The editing team lets the joke land, lets the absurdity sink in, then rockets to the next one. It's comedy timing on steroids. The action sequences deserve their own spotlight. The prison breakout? Long takes, real stunts, multiple cameras capturing the frenzy like a live performance. No lazy, quick cuts to hide anything. Domino's luck moments are visual feasts. Improbable chains of events choreographed in wide shots that make you laugh at how perfectly and hilariously everything collides. Cable's tech and time travel vibes get practical grounding with real props and impacts. Even the CGI heavy bits, Juggernaut's unstoppable rampage, feel weighty because they're motion captured with personality. Leech's own face and grunts giving the big guy soul. The violence is extreme but cartoonish enough to stay fun. Stylized blood splatters and limb losses that serve the comedy without ever feeling gratuitous. Production was a beautiful mess in the best way. Ryan showing up with overnight pages of new dialogue, the writers tweaking on the fly, Leech adjusting stunt rigs to fit the changes, the cast improvising lines that sometimes stuck. Vancouver weather turned into an uncredited co-star. Scheduled rain effects became real storms that soaked the crew and added gritty texture to the streets. Reshoots were pure love. Early tests loved Cable and Domino's dynamics so much they expanded it, refined joke timing, gave certain beats extra space. The whole process felt like a family making something wild together. In 2026, Deadpool 2 stands as the movie that flipped the script on superhero fatigue. It came out when everything was getting bigger, darker, more interconnected, and it said, nah, let's be stupid. Bleed a lot, swear nonstop, break every rule, and still make you care about found family and second chances. It's crude, violent, profane, ridiculous, and somehow profoundly human underneath it all. The heart sneaks up on you amid the chaos, and that's why it sticks. We've already got the script overflowing with the good stuff. Ryan Reynolds basically breathing life into Wade Wilson, co-writing to lock in every fourth wall shatter, every self-hating zinger, every chimichanga-fueled absurdity. David Leitch, proving stunt coordinators can direct masterpieces, practical flips, real impacts, long takes that make the chaos feel alive. The budget climbing to $110 million and exploding into a $785.9 million worldwide haul, ninth biggest of 2018. Undeniable evidence that hard R superhero movies can be box office beasts. The cast that's straight up magic. Morena Baccarin turning Vanessa into the one person who can cut through Wade's bullshit with love. Josh Brolin giving Cable that lived through hell gravel. Zazie Beetz making Domino's luck sequences some of the most inventive action comedy ever filmed. Julian Dennison mixing kid innocence with razor timing, Rob Delaney's Peter somehow becoming the breakout star with zero powers and just pure relatable awkwardness, Celine Dion recording Ashes and starring in a music video where Deadpool struts in high heels on the Caesars Palace stage like it's the most normal thing in the world, Tyler Bates' score cranking distorted guitars, and a choir that literally drops F-bombs, earning the soundtrack a parental advisory sticker for lyrical content. Unprecedented. The theatrical cuts non-stop 119-minute adrenaline rush versus the super-duper cuts added 14 to 15 minutes of bloodier fights, raunchier jokes, warmer family moments, and extra post-credit insanity. The quiet dedication to stuntwoman Joy S.J. Harris after the tragic motorcycle crash, Brad Pitt's $956 cameo that's over before your brain registers it, Matt Damon's redneck role born from a random dinner conversation with Alan Tudyk, Leach himself grunting and posing in the motion capture suit for the Juggernaut's massive face, and an Easter egg count that's legitimately ridiculous, over 600 tracked by fans, from Leach's sneaky ground chuck mutant prison truck self cameo to the ballerina music box Logan death parody, Christopher Plummer news ticker roast, Alpha Flight ads on Dopinder's cab roof, Quick Marrow prison yard flashes, Yentl vs. Cable, Streisand burn, Black Widow, Domino self-roast, Les Mis inmate number 24,601 nod, 11. Stranger Things style Negasonic nickname drop, M-Day is coming. Background propaganda, Bond gun barrel dream spoofs, Adventure Time watch callbacks, B and Arthur weapon names as Golden Girls love letters, and dialogue that twists specific comic runs with surgical precision. One of the quiet superpowers of the movie is how it handles tone shifts without ever feeling jarring. You can go from a brutal, laugh-out-loud fight to a quick fourth-wall stare-down to a genuinely tender moment between characters, and it all flows because the editing and performances are so tight. Those little reaction shots, Blind Al's deadpan eye rolls, Colossus's disappointed dad sighs, Yukio's quiet smiles, add so much texture. The movie never lets the comedy overpower the heart, and never lets the heart slow down the comedy. It's a perfect balance that most blockbusters chase but rarely nail. The soundtrack integration deserves another shout-out because it's not just background noise. It's part of the joke machine. When Take On Me kicks in during that one montage, the tempo syncs perfectly with the action beats. Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 during a beatdown, the irony is delicious. A C/DC riffs amp up the energy exactly when you need it. And Ashes? Celine Dion belting a power ballad for Deadpool is so absurdly perfect, it circles back to brilliant. The whole album feels like it was made to be played loud in a car with friends screaming along. Production trivia that keeps surfacing. The team had to balance Ryan's endless improv energy with keeping the shoot on schedule. Some lines were ad-libbed on the day and made the final cut because they were too good to lose. The prison hallway fight was shot in one continuous take multiple times until they got the perfect rhythm. Stunt performers running full speed, cameras tracking, no room for error. Vancouver's rain turned into a blessing in disguise. Those soaked street fights look grittier and more lived in because of it. Reshoots added that extra polish, more cable domino contrast, tighter joke delivery, extended beats where the emotion could land before the next explosion. In 2026, this movie still feels like the cool, rebellious cousin at the superhero family reunion. While everything else was getting bigger and more serious, Deadpool 2 doubled down on being loud, messy, sweary, violent, ridiculous, and, underneath it all, kind of sweet. It cares about protecting the people who matter, about second chances, about finding weird family in the wreckage. The profanity and gore are the wrapping paper. The heart is the gift inside.